Take a look at this. This was the reason for an Indian getting jailed in Dubai for 4 long years. These are khus-khus or poppy seeds. In India, they're commonly used in desserts or drinks, but in 2016, when an Indian man brought them to the UAE, he was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in jail and deportation. Why? Because he didn't know that poppy seeds are strictly banned in the UAE due to their potential use in narcotics. The man pleaded that he was going to use them for cooking purposes and didn't know it was banned to possess them. But ignorance of the law is not considered a valid defense in the UAE. This isn't just one instance. Many times, NRIs in the UAE find themselves in trouble because they weren't aware of the laws and regulations. So in this video, we'll be going over some important UAE laws that NRIs need to know, covering everyday life, money and work, residency and immigration, and lastly, family and property laws. If you are an NRI living and working in the UAE, make sure to watch this video to the end so that you don't miss anything and unnecessarily end up paying lakhs in penalties. Welcome to NRI Shaala. I'm Malvika, and this is where we navigate NRI life together, from visa guidance and investments to maintaining your roots while building your future abroad. Before moving on to complex laws, let's first go over some basic everyday norms you should take care of. The first thing to keep in mind is UAE customs are not casual. A lot of what feels normal in India is black and white here. All narcotic drugs, including poppy seeds, publications, and artwork that contradict Islamic teachings, and gambling tools are few among many items banned to possess in UAE. The consequences can range from seizure and fines to a criminal case and deportation. So before you pack, check the official banned lists, and if carrying cash or gold worth more than 60,000 dirhams, declare it on the Afseh app. Now, customs is one part, but what you say and share, especially on social media, matters just as much. In 2021, an expat was fined 250,000 dirhams and deported for sharing offensive content. In another case, a woman faced legal penalties after posting viral Instagram content criticizing a hospital. Authorities have made it clear, adherence to UAE media law is mandatory. Here's what following violations can lead to: a certain amount of penalties. 250,000 to 1 million dirhams for content that offends Islam or any religion, 5,000 to 10,000 dirhams for spreading misinformation, 50,000 to 500,000 dirhams for disrespecting state institutions, 40,000 to 200,000 dirhams for hosting media activities without approval. Following up on public conduct, there are behavioral norms that differ from what you might be accustomed to in India. You can't swear or use bad gestures that can lead to a fine of 500,000 dirhams. You can't drive a dirty car, and washing it on the street is illegal. Use car wash services at malls or petrol stations instead. Lastly, fundraising or collecting money for charity without a license can cost you heavy penalties or deportation. In 2016, a British expat was charged 5,000 dirhams and deported for raising funds without permission for children with liver conditions. The UAE offers incredible opportunities, but it's crucial to understand their laws from day one. One mistake can mean deportation, huge fines, or jail time, destroying everything you've worked for. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The last section I'm about to share could save your family from losing everything you've built: your home, your savings, even custody of your children. Moving on, the next set of laws is related to work and money. The first thing you need to know is that non-payment of debt is a serious issue in UAE. While you won't go to jail, your bank account can be frozen. If you default on loans or credit cards, banks can freeze accounts and get court orders, including travel bans, until repayment. Therefore, it's smart to have an emergency fund in another bank. But debt isn't the only reason for banks to freeze your accounts. Banks in the UAE are under strict anti-money laundering rules. If your Emirates ID expires, visa changes, or you fail to update records, your account may be restricted. Even routine remittances can get blocked if KYC is outdated. The UAE runs the Wage Protection System, or WPS, which requires all private sector salaries to be paid electronically on time. So if you're unpaid, you can lodge a case through Moray's helpline or app. But when working there is one thing you need to take care of. Every expat's visa is tied to an employer or a sponsor. You're only legally allowed to work for that sponsor unless you obtain a part-time work permit from Moray. Doing freelance or side jobs without this permit is classed as illegal employment and can lead to fines, visa cancellation, and work bans. Lastly, for those running companies in UAE, make sure to renew your trade license on time, keep company visas aligned, and ensure staff salaries are paid via WPS. Lapses can lead to daily fines, penalties, and blacklisting. NRIs running small businesses often overlook these, assuming late renewal is just a fee, but law enforcement is much stricter now. Speaking of business and employment, there's one tempting thing you never want to do, else you'll regret this all your life. And this brings us to the third section: residency and immigration laws the NRIs need to know. A few months back, 21 individuals were convicted in Dubai for massive visa fraud. They set up fake companies offering fake visas, then shutting down without regularizing workers' legal status. Expats often buy fake visas to hack immigration, but the government has clear systems like the WPS to monitor if employees are actually being paid. If you are on a company sponsorship but not receiving wages or doing the job, it raises red flags. About your visa, next thing you want to take care of is that you don't overstay. If your visa or Emirates ID expire, you're considered an overstayer. 50 dirhams per day fine start, and expired IDs often trigger bank account freezes, blocked mobile services, and trouble with tenancy renewals. Now, if you're thinking, I got mine sorted, but what about my family? Well, UAE allows you to sponsor and bring your spouse, children, or parents, but the rules are strict. Minimum salary thresholds apply, around 4,000 to 10,000 dirhams depending on the family size. Children above 25 usually don't qualify unless they have special needs. So if dependents lose their visa, they risk overstay fines or deportation. Next, in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, health insurance is mandatory for visa renewal. Employers must provide it for staff, and sponsors must buy policy for dependents. Without valid insurance, visa renewal is blocked. Skipping insurance isn't an option either. It's tied directly to your residency status. Another thing that is tied directly to your residency status is the period for which you stay outside of UAE. Many NRIs discover their visas have lapsed when trying to return after extended India visits, which can lead them to losing their job, tenancy, and Emirates ID just because they overstayed abroad. There are exceptions to golden visa, green visa, and some student permits. But if not, then make sure you don't stay outside the UAE for more than 180 days, else your residence visa becomes invalid automatically. This brings us to the last and probably the most important section of the video: family and property laws. In 2023, a tenant was evicted with only 2 weeks' notice, despite having 6 months left on the lease. All that because of one simple mistake: the lease was not registered in Ijari. The Ijari system is the legal mechanism for registering all tenancy contracts in Dubai. Without it, tenants and landlords face serious limitations. The tenant filed a complaint, but the eviction was overturned due to the lack of a registered Ijari contract. This case shows that Ijari is not just administrative, it's your legal safety net in Dubai's real estate system. Another property-related risk occurs when NRIs invest in under-construction projects but don't regulate their payments through government-approved escrow accounts. If you bypass escrow and the project stalls, you could lose lakhs with no refund. Always double-check the escrow details on the Dubai Land Department site. But what would happen to those properties and investments if an NRI passes away? In the UAE, if you pass away without a registered will, Your estate is automatically governed by Sharia inheritance law regardless of your religion or nationality. Under Sharia, assets may not go directly to your spouse and children. Instead, they can be split across extended family. Guardianship of minor children is decided by the court, not automatically given to the surviving parent. So make sure you've registered a will in Dubai, DIFC or Abu Dhabi, else your family may face delays and divisions. Lastly, what happens if the couples undergo divorce when residing in UAE? Many expat couples assume Indian law will apply during divorce, but UAE courts have the final word. Custody is awarded in the best interest of the child. Taking a child abroad without court approval can be treated as abduction. Moreover, if the court orders child support, the UAE government enforces support and maintenance through salary deductions, account freezes, and travel bans. So that wraps up some key laws every NRI in the UAE needs to be mindful of. What we covered today is just a starting point. Always double-check official government sources, and for property, wills, or family matters, consult a licensed professional. Now, Diwali season is coming and many of you might be heading home. Check out this video for a checklist on what to do on your next India visit. But before that, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more NRI content. See you in the next one.